Howdy, I am Father Jason Cargo at St. Joseph Catholic Church. As your pastor, I am very excited to introduce to you our two new associate priests, Father Martin Wangi and Father Michael Bainham. It is with great joy that we receive them here at St. Joseph as they continue their priestly ministry to serve Jesus Christ. They will learn here about how we evangelize as we worship, study, and serve. With great joy, we welcome Father Michael Bainham to St. Joseph Catholic Church. Father Michael brings to us a youthful enthusiasm for the faith. Father Michael, having been recently ordained, brings a sense of excitement for the priesthood and excitement for ministry. Moreover, as a young person, Father Michael is able to reach out to our youth and young adults in a very unique and special way. A couple things I would like to bring to your attention about Father Michael. Father Michael is a man of joy. He loves to laugh and he loves to help other people laugh. He's a great conversationalist and it's a joy to talk to him. I would like to introduce to you Father Michael Bainham.
So I was born here locally. We lived in Irving up until about third grade, and then we moved to Coppell. I'm the youngest of four boys, and my dad passed away when I was young. I was 8 years old, and so it was kind of just my mom and us for a little while, and then my mom remarried when I was 13. I played baseball through about 8th grade. And then the other thing I was doing at the same time was I was in band and playing saxophone. And so I stayed with that, played saxophone through high school and marching band and all that. I was also in the Boy Scouts and got my Eagle Scout. When I was in high school, I did one of the Philmont treks with the Scouts in New Mexico. My brother and I went together, and that was a lot of fun. That was kind of when I first came to find God in nature and really enjoyed just the peacefulness of it, out away from everything, and cleared my mind. So I started going to the youth group when I entered high school, basically right summer before high school. I decided to go to the youth group there at St. Anne's. I knew some girls that were going, and I was kind of interested in that more than the youth group itself. And so I got involved and was going on retreats and starting to have a relationship with Christ. And my sophomore year, I went on my confirmation retreat. We did confirmation in 10th grade. And was on retreat in front of the Blessed Sacrament in adoration. I knew that God wasn't satisfied with where my life was going, and so I finally in that moment just asked him, what do you want me to do with my life? And I felt this calling, this almost like this voice in my heart saying, be a priest, be a priest. And I was 15 at the time. And so I left the retreat excited, but still a lot of questions. And so I went home, and after a couple weeks, I broke up with my girlfriend. And then I remember, a few days later, my mom asked me, what happened to your girlfriend? I haven't seen her in a while. And I said, well, I broke up with her. She was like, why'd you do that? I think she liked the girlfriend more than me. And I said, well, I think God might be calling me to be a priest. And she's like, oh, you're too young to think about this. You just need to enjoy high school and get that experience as, a normal kid in high school. And so that kind of made me sort of second guess my plan. And then I started thinking about my other friends, and none of them were really thinking about priesthood or breaking up with girlfriends for that reason or anything. And so I started to think, maybe this isn't such a good idea. And so I started running from this call, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. And so I was just trying to get it out of my head, but it just kind of stuck with me. And I was still going to youth group and church. And so eventually I had this bright idea where I said, all right, I'm not getting rid of this idea. And so let me start really praying about it. And I thought, I'll figure out through all this that God's not really calling me. It was my bright idea to sort of pray away this calling to the priesthood. And it didn't really work, obviously. I just started feeling this calling more and more, and eventually just came to trust God. And so I decided to enter the seminary. Applied, and I thought, well, maybe they won't accept me, and then I can really be done with this. But that didn't work either. They accepted me, and I thought, well, after a year or two, they'll get rid of me. And they never did, and I just sort of grew in this calling and this vocation, and came to see that this was what God made me for. I started out getting to say my first Mass for my dad. Getting to offer that Mass for him was a great thing for me to get to do as a son, and I think it was a time of just increased healing for my whole family, of being able to bring my dad into my ordination like that. That was an incredible moment, something I'm still sort of unpacking. Then there's just been great experiences of every day's different. Every day you never know what's gonna walk into the office, what people's needs are gonna be, and what phone calls you're gonna receive, and somehow by God's grace and by 9 years of formation, I'm able to sort of meet those needs to some degree, and just be there for people. And so that's an incredible gift. Celebrating the Eucharist every day is something I'm still sort of wrapping my mind around. I was thinking the other day, I stayed at my parents' house, and then in the morning we woke up and I celebrated Mass there in the house, in our front room. And my brother was telling me afterwards that all he could think of during Mass was the fact that in that same room, way back when, I had locked him out of the house, and he started banging on the window and broke the window. We got in a lot of trouble. and then, many years later, there I am saying Mass in the same room, so. One thing I think people have found surprising so far at St. Joseph is that I'm not 18. I'm actually a little bit older than that. But it's been such a warm welcome already, and I'm so excited to be here. That first Sunday Mass, I processed in, and I just thought, I've worked the last 9 years to get here, and just so grateful to God to be here and to finally be living out my vocation. And I know that St. Joseph's is an incredible place to have my first assignment as a priest, and to really learn how to be a priest.